quick introduction, a quick brief to what is exactly Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. What are its different features? What can you do with such a features? What we are going to basically understand over here. There's nothing much in depth because most of the features here are free. So what can you use? What can we work on is what we are basically going to understand in this session. So let's get started and understand the features of this Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. Now, the very first thing, let's understand what is exactly Microsoft, what is this Copilot Chat that we have, right? Let's understand that because we all know nowadays we are hearing all these terms, generative AI, in that we have Chat GPT, we have Gemini, that is that is becoming very, very popular. Lot of people who don't even have technical knowledge are also using this particular service, right? And they are also working with it. So we have been hearing all of this quite often now. But let's understand what is this Copilot because Microsoft's not behind also. It has a tie-up with OpenAI. So it also has the GPT model, but it also has its own proprietary generative chat generation tool that is there, which is Copilot. So Copilot is nothing but a LLM assistant or something that combines. It's nothing but an LLM only, wherein you can write anything, right? Ask questions, write, ask for a code, search for anything, like how you would write or how you would ask a question to anyone. That's what basically this chatbot is or this AI is. And so I'm pretty sure you might have used Chat GPT, right? But this is for the, as the name says, M365. So it's basically something for your technical work, for your enterprise related work. If you want faster task, I mean, you want the task to be implemented faster, which makes your work easy, right? So this is where the M365 Copilot Chat or the Copilot tool you can use. Now there are two Copilot chats that we have. One is the free version and second is a licensed version. So both of them, of course, have differences between the two in order to use. So naturally, we all know that the free things are just something that are very basic, very fundamental. But if you want something more specific to your work, something that explores your data, your emails, your documents, something that is more, you want a more, so if you want more specific work, right, that is what basically the licensed version will help you with. It will integrate with your data because here, when we talk about the 365 Copilot Chat, the free version, it doesn't basically target your data, target your emails, your documents, or your presentations, or etc. Right? It's going to use the data from web, work on it, and give you responses based on that. So if you want to add in this thing, your own custom data, then you will need a license which will include all of that. So that is the difference. So if I have to talk about the differences between the two, so this is the difference between the two, though the name is the same, right? Though the name that we see is the same. Just a second, sorry, guys. Yeah. Though the name for both these services is the same, right? But one A comes with a license, the other doesn't. So these are the differences between the two. So in the subscription, when you purchase, you have the entire range of features that you want, right? Grounding. So what is grounding? So both have grounding, just that over here it will use your custom data to ground. So grounding in general means to learn from your data, to build that knowledge, okay, from from either the web or your own data. So when the learning process is there, okay, we will come. So if I have to talk about the agent in Copilot, okay, if I have to talk about that. So unfortunately, in the free version, we will not be able to, you will not be able to build a agent. That's not allowed. You will need a licensed version. But I'll definitely show you all. We will, our next, the first thing that we are going to explore is the Copilot window, how it looks, where you can go and access. So in case you have the license and you want to create an agent, so I'll just show you where it is, but I can't create one and show it to you because I myself don't have a license. I only have the free license because the free license comes with your enterprise ID, everyone. So once you're a part of an enterprise with your E3 or your E5 license, you get the Copilot chat free one, but you don't get the license. License is something that your administrator or of the enterprise has to purchase and allocate it to you. Right? So till the time you will not be able to use the subscription based Copilot. So you will always, anyone will get a free version. So if I have to use the Copilot chat, there are two ways in which I can do it. One is the web browser. So very simple. All you have to do is so it's very simple. All you have to do is just come to any browser. So if you go to any browser here, uh, yeah. So one thing is you will find it in the browser here. So can you see automatically? You just have to sign in. You have to ensure that you sign in and you can use the chat window that is there and you can start asking questions where whatever questions you have. So you have to, you can see here. So this is one of the ways on the top also. If you see, we have this nothing but that is the Copilot. So any questions that you have, right, related, which you want to get from the web, right? The data source that is available here is your web. So this is one place you can go and you can use directly. You can use the Copilot chat. Or the other thing that you can do is you can go to a separate browser. They have created a endpoint for it, which is they call it as the Copilot com or M365 also or copilot.microsoft.com. You can just go search for this on any of your browser and you can use the Copilot. So here, before you start, they will just do a verification whether you're human or not, and you can just go and ask questions. So if you want to go ask any simple questions, right? You want help drafting a mail, you want help drafting some, let's say you have an upcoming event that is coming, and you want to go ask questions, you want to ask something for it to generate, because it's an LLM. LLM's job is to generate an image, a text, audio, video, whatever you like. But here, because it's Copilot, it's ultimately going to generate. So here you can see you have two ways of accessing. One is either you go to the copilot.microsoft.com and you can go and directly start asking questions. Or the second way is you open it in a Edge browser, right? Like how I have opened it here. And you can directly go, you can see your chat window available. You can go directly ask questions. Okay, like what is the weather today and whatever you require from the web where your custom data is not involved, because it's a free service, you can use this. So these are the two ways in which you can go access the Copilot Chat 365. Okay, you just have to sign in using your enterprise ID. So one of the ways, the other ways that you could also do is you can log into your Office 365. So here I have logged into my Office 365 and can you see we have whatever we get. So here I've used my enterprise ID and I've logged in and you can directly see that in the M365 earlier we used to get a different portal, but now they have integrated the Copilot into that only. And this is your Copilot page or Copilot where you can go and access. So if you have to use your enterprise ID, but keep in mind, yeah, you have to always use your enterprise ID in order to use the free version, because Copilot is a service that Microsoft has created just for enterprises to solve their issues, to help them build content in the enterprises. Like if you are an analyst, right? A financial analyst, or if you're a if you're a marketing professional, a marketing research assistant or something, and you want to build and expand your enterprise, help market what your company does, help perform financial analysis faster, get faster result. So that is where you use the Copilot. So it's not like Chat GPT that everyone can use, because the name, if you look at the curriculum, is also M365 Copilot Chat. So its main aim is to help you understand, or help you basically go ahead with planning, with getting faster responses, making your work easy so that you can get faster and quick response, so that whatever task you have been assigned, sorry, you can implement that faster, right? So this is where you can also come. So you have to log into your Office 365 applications, right? Not just that, and because it's M365, and in M365 we have so many applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Teams, Outlook, so many applications it has. So Microsoft, because Microsoft tools, only Microsoft's own services. So you can also, even Copilot, which is a Microsoft service, has been integrated in all these services as well. So in case you want to use Copilot in Word, in Excel, in PPT, in PowerPoint presentations, so you have those. You also have a Copilot built in the Windows. So here you can see you have that app also being given to you. So it's in a form of an application also, which you can use free of cost. Some features you can use free. Okay, so that is also available to you. So you just have to launch this app, go to the home, and you can start logging in, start asking questions, right? However, and whatever questions you want. So the the model that it is using, the Copilot that is using, is the latest GPT-5 model. You can even change the model if you like, right? Any other, if you want a quick response, you want to think deeper. So I'm not going into depth of this, but the model that it is using is over here, and you can just ask questions. Okay, you want to know when is Microsoft going to release Windows 12? So if you want, you could ask some questions like this, and you will see a response, a direct answer coming in. So when are they going to launch? And you can see a very elaborate explanation also given to you, right? So you could see the comparison also it is doing between 11 and 12. So 11 is the latest version, but there is no official um, announcement regarding the 12, but of course they will come up with it. What will be the differences, design? It'll have much more AI integrated in it. Okay, so this is all. You can see it's giving you a detailed direct answer, right? So you could also ask a follow-up question to this. All those things you can do. So this is the different methods that you can use in order to get started with the Copilot chat. Okay, so either you go to the web browser, go to the Edge browser, and you can log in, or you can use it in your M365 products, Word, Excel, whatever products you want. So you can even go to the Word document, just open this locally, or in your on the web on online also you can open it, and you can just click a blank document. And if you see here, they have opened this. So you can just click on chat now, and you will see a tab that is coming. So you can see on the right hand side, a new tab is opening. So you can see that over here. So you can close this, and over here also you can see you have that option integrated to use Copilot, and you can get started. Whatever topic you want, you can brainstorm on, get a detailed description, get a detailed response, generate another file. So if you want, you ask a question, and you want something in a Word file, Excel file, whatever file you want it to create, it will do it for you as well. So here, this is how you work with, or you get started with the Copilot chat. Okay. Now, before you start using this particular chat, this Copilot chat that we have, of course, because it's a LLM, it's like you're asking questions, and based on the question, it will be giving you the response, giving you the output, right? Based on what you ask. So you're writing something called as a prompt is very, very important. So we will discuss on the interface. We will see when I complete the next topic. Okay. So now over here, when you're using the Copilot chat, right? These are the three steps that you have to normally follow. And I said, the very first thing that you have to get started with the question that you ask. Now, what is this question? Question is nothing but the prompt that you write. Exactly what do you want? What do you want the chat to generate for you, right? Is the first thing that you do. So prompt is like a natural, straightforward, clear question that you ask, clear instructions that you give while you're using this Copilot. So the very first step to get started or get use or get use the Copilot chat is to, of course, ask, give a direct instruction, give a clear instruction, right? Normally, how you would ask questions to anyone, right, about anything. Just think about another human sitting who has a deep dive knowledge about any topic that you want to discuss. So how you would write a question, how you would frame a question, it's the same way you frame this prompt. So prompt is nothing but a question and instruction that you first give, right? So here, that's the very first step, and I'm pretty sure if you've used Chat GPT, that's the very first thing you do. So it's the same thing with Copilot Chat also, but here it will be more towards your enterprise because it's M365, and if it's the free version, so just keep in mind that it is going to use web as its data source and not your custom data that you have. So that's the first step if you have to use the chat that you have to follow. The second step is the sources. Like I said, when you're using the chat free version, it is nothing but using the web, okay, in order to get the data. So, of course, verifying the sources from where information is coming. Is it reliable? Is it not? So all those things do play a very crucial role, which we don't have to look at. Okay, as a user, we don't have to basically look at it. It's the one who's providing it will have to ensure that it is taken care of, the data protection, data, the security of your data, etc. All those tasks. Because in free version, if I have to say, not all those things will be covered, right? But some part of it will be protected, not all, because the source is a web source. It's not, it's a it's an open or a public source. So not much security will be taken. But when you are giving your own data, and of course, when you pay for it, naturally the data will be protected. So that is what is the difference between the licensed version and the free version. And then, of course, once you ask questions, you get a response. You can definitely ask follow-up questions, refine your responses, refine the prompt that you have given. So if you give more examples in your prompt, tell the Copilot that, okay, this is how I want the data. So of course, we will see how to write a prompt. That's the very next module that we will be discussing. How can you write a better prompt? Okay, all those details we will definitely are going to see over here. So that's a very, very important thing, right? Whether you want, because at times it can give you a detailed response, or you don't want a detailed response and you forgot to mention that in the earlier instruction, in the earlier prompt, but now you want a summative output, a summary of what response you have given. So all those things, okay, all those responses will definitely enhance your prompt. Okay, so you have to be very precise, very concise about what question are you going to ask, what assistance do you need from the Copilot. So if you like, if I give you all more examples on how to use the Copilot chat, I'm pretty sure you will be able to understand what responses it gives, probably brainstorm your own this thing. So as you start using the tool, it becomes very, very clear to you all as to how this particular tool works. Now, coming to the security part, of course, your data protection is essential. It is important. It is an enterprise level data that is there because we are asking Copilot to at times draft an email, right? Give our enterprise level data about revenues, about the sales we have done. So at times it is very private, right? In regards to the enterprise, it's something that is something needs to be safeguarded, needs to be compliant also in different regions when we are working with the data. It has to not just be secured, it has to be compliant with the M365 services, right? Whether it's Word, Excel, PPT, Outlook, Teams, it has to be compliant with all of them, right? And the region where your services are deployed, that also the data governance also comes into picture over here. So when you're using the free version also, don't think that your data is not protected. Of course, your data is protected through this enterprise data protection, which is there, which is going to safeguard your data. So this is the data protection addendum that is used, okay, which outlines the commitments to safeguard your data. So it inherits whatever is the existing M365 security and compliance standards. It's going to, whatever is used in the other services to protect your data, the same thing is incorporated in this AI tool, because the AI, we all know, is something that is revolutionizing the industry. Data is very important and it's private personal data we share at times. So we need to respect that. We need our AI to be responsible, right? That is why we have a term responsible AI, which has to be followed. So it all depends upon the kind of data you are sending and sharing. Okay, it needs protection. It needs authorized users only to access it, right? So that is what is basically the data protection, data security used in the Copilot chat. Now, let's move on to the next part or the next module where I told you the very important part that you have to focus on is how to work or how to write prompts, because that is the essential thing, right? Without that, you will not be able to use, even like when you work on Chat GPT, right? Even there, the first thing that you give is a prompt, is the instruction, is the question that you ask to that LLM, right? So here, even with very less technical knowledge, if you want to interact and get a response, get your work done, then the very first thing is to write a very effective prompt, because this is the whole and soul of, I mean, is the heart and soul of this entire product that is there. Even when you use Gemini, you use Llama, you use Meta AI, you use Chat GPT, right? This is the very foundation that is there. So what are the different technique, what is the different methods that you can use in order to enhance your prompts, write a better prompt so that you get a better response, right? All of those things go hand in hand. So if you give a better, clear prompt, you will definitely get a better response to that prompt. So that is what we are going to understand in this module. So what are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're writing a prompt? See, a prompt is a way of communicating with the Copilot chat. It is something that is going to perform tasks like creating, summarizing, editing, transforming, okay, understanding, interpreting whatever you have given in a straightforward, clear language. So that is why writing your prompt in clear, straightforward manner, in clear, concise way is a way of, I mean, and like I said, even the response depends upon that, right? So here the very first thing that you have to keep in mind is the context. You have to give a context as to why are you, what are you, or who is involved? What is the context? What are you preparing on, right? Whether it's a client meeting, is it an hands-on speech? What kind of focus or what are the details that you want to focus on? So you need to give the context as to why do you need it and who is it that is involved in this? Is it a particular client? Is it a particular topic that you are looking for? So it's like your, I mean, it's not like your traditional search that you do. Like earlier, what you used to spend so much time in searching the data. So it's unlike that. So here you have to provide the context as to what are you doing, what is your requirement, why do you need it, and who is involved, what kind of client is involved. We need to give that exact context over here, which will give a better response. Then the next thing that you need to include in your prompt is your goal as to what response is expected. What are your expectations? What is your desired output? What is your end goal from that response? From this question that you're asking, what is your end goal? So giving that clarity is very, very important. So what response do you want from the Copilot? So whether you want it in bulleted points, you want an essay, you want an email. So let's say you want to apply for a sick leave or you want to take a leave and you want an email to be drafted. So all those things have to be, your end goal has to be clear as to why are you drafting this email? What are the things that this when it is generating that content, what are the things that you have to keep in mind? Give some sample examples to it, some sample prompts you could probably provide, right? So if you give examples, you give, okay, this is how it should look like, this is my expectation, right? Then of course we all know that we perform better even if in our daily task, if I have told, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to get. So all these things we all know make it better, right? The response is better. We know what the audience requires, what my manager is expecting, what is the user expecting. So we can develop that content in that way. Okay, so here, if you give better examples also in your response, if you add examples, so the LLM is clear about what is it supposed to exactly give as the output. Then the next thing is if you give a source also, right? What is your information? Specify the source. Normally in this Copilot, we can't add a source. Like I said, it's not working on custom data, but it will of course use some web source. Still, if you want, you can upload files, you can upload some URLs or something and tell Copilot that, okay, use this as a source and develop a lab or develop some material for you. Okay, so that is also another important aspect to add in your prompt or while writing a prompt, which will improve the response, give you a better response, right? And the last thing is your expectation. How do you want Copilot to respond to your request, to your prompt? State your expectations, like I said, in the prompt, if you give your expectations that, okay, I want this in a Word file, I want this structured for a layman user, I want it aimed at this particular audience, right? So if you add that tone also, what are you thinking? What is this assignment for? What do we need it for? So if you give those expectations in a much elaborate manner of who you are, what you are, like for example, if you're a marketing research professional, or you are, yeah, or you are a data analyst. So you have a persona to you. You are a role, right? So add that role to your prompt. Like, see, I'm a trainer, I'm a data analyst, and I'm developing a report, I'm developing a dashboard for this. This is my expectation. And this is some sample. Please give me a response in this way. So naturally, AI will interpret that faster and give you a better response. So if you have to write an effective prompt, this is how it should be. So here, if you add a persona, so you can see I work in marketing and focus on competitor research. So you're adding a persona, you're describing what you do, right? Why you need it, what is your target that you have adding. Then you add a goal. Give me a concise summary of recent news about XYZ company, right? Because you're a marketing research and you focus on competitors that are there. So you want to know about a specific company, what they are doing, give you a summary. So you're telling, okay, clear, concise instruction has been given that it has to be a summary. Okay, so that is your goal. that you want a concise summary about that particular about that particular company, right? So that is your goal. So what response do you want? You get that. So if you write it, right, you can see that we are getting a better, clear response. Then you focus on the source. So here you're saying, okay, please get me because I want the recent news. So you focus on web articles from the last 2 months, right? Give me the articles from the last 2 months that are there. So you can see that it will, of course, if you add this, this will definitely enhance the response, give you a best possible response that is there. The quality of your result will definitely improve. And lastly, provide the answer in 2 or 3 paragraphs and use a business tone. So if you see you're setting your expectations so that you get a better response, you're giving that expectation that, okay, this is how it's a business matter. You're giving that particular tone to it. So you will see that it will definitely enhance and give you a better response. So here, if you are giving some what are the best practices when you are giving a prompt? Of course, it has to be clear, concise. It has to give examples, right? Like I said, keep it conversational. Frame your prompts in such a way that okay, you have a you learn from that response also, and you give a follow-up question also. Ask for feedback. Write legibly. Okay, it has to be very, very important. Pronunciations, punctuations, not pronunciation, sorry, but punctuations, the grammar when you're writing, okay, in whatever language you are using, it's in local, regional language, or it's an international language. So you have to write it, you have to you have to follow the English language or whatever language you're writing it, you have to follow the punctuation, capitalization, right? When we say it shouldn't be in lowercase, it has to be in uppercase, right? So you have to stick to that so that you get good quality text and response. Check for accuracy, check for mistakes, whether the co-pilot is making any mistake or not in terms of grammar, in terms of the style. Is it irrelevant? Is it inappropriate content? Something that we don't expect, like self-harm, violence, right? Sexual content. Is it generating that for you? So you have to keep a track of that because that is not your purpose, right? You have to check your slang, you have to check the jargon, informal language are you using, any unethical content are you adding? So that is, of course, it has to be avoided whenever you're building a response, right? Whenever you are building a response. So that is there, give details, be polite. Could you, okay, these are some of the details that you have to add. Could you tell me which are the top 3 marketing agencies in Mumbai, in India? Okay, so if you keep your tone formal, polite, okay, and if you write it in a refined, concise way rather than keeping it vague, random, adding some irrelevant stuff in your prompt, so naturally the response is not going to be good, right? So these are some of the examples that you could use for web if your source is a web, because that's what we are going to focus even in the chat, Copilot chat, when we go and we use. Okay, so here this is some of the examples. Like if you look at the questions, can you help me write a Python script if you're a developer? Okay, so these are some of the response prompts that you could use. List ideas for a fun remote team building event and etc. All of that, right? So whatever domain you're working in, you can see you can use those, and of course, it's a learning process with every response, with every prompt that you submit. You will, of course, learn and you will get an idea, right? You get an idea as to what should be my next response. So, some more examples if you want related to work. Okay, like you want to check your calendar, right? What are the upcoming meetings? When is your next one-on-one meeting or an interview that is scheduled? What does the acronym, okay, for this company stand for? What are your deadlines? All those things help me prepare for a meeting. What is the agenda of the meeting? What is the objective of the meeting? If you add all of those things, we all know that it is going to help us, okay, improve our response, right? So these are some of the sample examples for your work related. So now let's just see how you can use the Copilot application So I'm going to use this Copilot Chat in my M365 subscription that I have. Okay, I have already logged into it. So I'm going to use that over here. And let's write some sample prompts that you could give. So let's say you want a summary of some industry you're working. Let's say you're working in the marketing industry and you're planning an event. So let's say you want some understanding of that industry. What are the innovation trends that are there in the year 2025? What was the latest trend, and what were the top three trends that were there? So you can definitely go and you can ask. So here you can see this is where you can come and you can ask your prompt. Okay, write your prompt, I'm sorry, and you'll get a response here. Okay, so on the left hand side, you can see this is where you can come and you can create an agent. So I will tell you all what is an agent, but we can't go and create an agent because I don't have the license for it, right? Then you can also see, you can explore some of the agents. So what is an agent? We will discuss that shortly. Then another thing that you could also do is you can just start writing. So let's say I want to summarize some of the industry trends that I'm doing for an event, that I'm planning for an event. So you can ask the prompt here. So what are the top three innovations, innovation trends in marketing for 2025, and how can they shape, okay, the agenda for a client summary or a client summit, I'm sorry. So how can they, so you can also add in, I'm a marketing professional. You can say I'm a marketing professional and researching about the latest trends in marketing industry. Can you help me with the following question? You can ask something like this, and then you can go and you can ask this. So you can see I've added some more content, right, about my persona, about what I'm researching. So you can see I've added it, like I've given the content, I've given my goal also in it. So you can see that it is going to help me give a clear response over here, right? So you can see, you can even add, if you want, you can even edit this and you can add, okay, give me a summary in one or two paragraphs, explain this. Or you can generate a Word document if you want. So you can make it more refined, you can brainstorm more things. Okay. So you could, of course, add more details to it. So you get a response here, right? That is there. You can also, I'll just stop this. Yeah, it's going to give me the same thing. So here you can see it's giving you a response. You can, of course, make this response, add a follow-up question to this. So let's say you want to get, like you want to get attendees, you feel that, okay, this particular event that or summit that I'm going to create, right, or I'm going to conduct. Let me say I want to get an agenda of this Chrome. I want some ideas. I want to brainstorm on this, right? So let's say you want to basically add a follow-up this thing. So based on those trends, let's say you want Copilot to suggest 5 engaging session titles. Okay, so that let's say because you're conducting a summit, an event, right? So you want 5 session titles and write short description. So you can see you're giving your expectations. So short description for a client innovation summit. Okay, so if you give this response, okay, so you can see that if you give this basically, so you can see so it's giving you titles, a short description. Can you see? So 5 titles it is giving you. You made your goal, you set your expectations, right? And you're already given a persona about you. So here you can see you've given a persona. So it has picked up that, right? And it is doing that. So here you can also add a follow-up question to this. Make description. So if you feel the descriptions are still something that is not according to your expectations, you want them more compelling, you want a more professional tone, which we didn't add in our expectations. But if you want that more professional tone or something, so you can definitely add that here. Okay, so you can definitely add those things. So here, let's say you can say make the descriptions more compelling by using an energizing and professional tone. So you can see it will make those responses, those five these things, and you will see a difference. It will be more professional, more energizing, right? And you can see it has refined the response based on the prompt you have given, right? So you can ask questions like this. You can even visualize the agenda, the timeline, create a logo. So you can just do that also. So let's say you want, so you can create an agenda for this 1 day summit, right? So you pick up one of the trends. So let's say I go with this in the earlier response that we had. So just pick up one of the trends. So you can see it's given you a sample agenda also here. But let's say you want to get a detailed agenda. You want a much more detailed agenda. So you could just pick up one of the trends. Okay. So just pick up that. So you can go with, let's say, AI powered hyper personalization. So we will add that here. So I'll say create an agenda timeline for a 1 day summit focused on AI powered. So you have to be careful. Like I said, capitalization and all of that hyper personalization. One of the trends I'm picking up with an introduction closing sessions at, let's say, you have certain sessions, so 9 a.m., okay, 11 a.m. will be the second session, third session will be after the lunch break, so you can add in that time over here. Okay, so you can add that time. So anything you can just add in this section timings whenever you want. PM, let's say 2 mini breaks and an hour break for lunch. Okay, in a table. So let's say you're again giving a expectation that how do you want this agenda to be created. So here you can just stay in a table format, right? And you can just submit this prompt. So it will give you a response. So can you see it's created a table and you can see registration, networking, this is the time. It's also giving you a description to this, right? So you can see this is the trend that we have picked up and you can see a description, mini break, like when will be the first session, when will be the second session, when will be the lunch break, right? It's giving you a very detailed description, okay? To this, you can even add something like create a simple and modern logo. So you can ask it to generate an image also for this client innovation summit. So you can submit this also and it will come up with a dummy logo, right? Modern logo, it will generate that. So can you see it's generating an image for you, right? It will definitely do that and you can use this logo. You can check for plagiarism also, all those things. You can definitely do that here. So you can add up all of this. So it will take some time to generate this response. Till the time this is happening, we can also look at how we can use Yeah, so can you see it has generated one over here? Okay, so it has created this for you over here. Yeah. So a logo has been created. You can add this logo to your branding. So you can see this is the logo that it has created. Then you can also plan this document. You can save all of this in a document, create a Word file if you want. So you can even do that here. So you can just say create one page. So let's say you want to fit everything in a page or Word file, right? Planning brief, like what should go in that event. Let's say you want a planning, you want a agenda for that, and you want to keep it saved somewhere, all these ideas that you have brainstormed, right? All these logos that you have created, or whatever is required for the event. Let's say you want to put it into a Word file, right? Like I said, in the expectations, you can even tell what kind of document you want it to generate. So you can even add it here for this client innovation submit that includes, okay, just giving one example, guys. You can, of course, explore a lot of it, like goals, audience, okay, session themes, and key planning milestones. Something like this you can add, and you can, of course, just submit this. You can now generate this. Either you can copy this response and paste it in a Word file, or you can tell this very system that please, whatever you have generated, please put it in a Word file and give it to me. So can you see it's even giving you a follow-up question even at the bottom. Can you see, would you like it in a PDF with the logo, etc.? So you can use this also, and you can just say, yes, please help me design this brief as a visually appealing PDF with branding and my summit logo. You can use the same description that is given. Okay, you can use that, or you can even add it as a Word file. So you decide how you want to do it. So you can see here you have the copy option. You can paste this entire thing in a Word file. So if you copy this, you can just go to this Word file and you can even paste it here. So entire thing will be pasted, and of course you can make changes to this. Use the Copilot here and you can give a detailed description. Please modify this Word file, whatever you want, you can add it even over here. Okay. Or you can tell the Copilot here that please help me create this. So if you submit this response, okay, it's going to generate a PDF and give it to you. So you can use all of this also over here. So it will take time to do that. So it will generate. So we'll wait for this to be generated till the time. Okay, it is doing it. So you can see it's giving it to you in a downloadable format, right? So you can ask any question as long as you write your prompt, and you can see you can download this file and you can even open it in your local system. So can you see it has picked up that logo, really given it to you in a very, very nice format, right? So you can use this, you can make changes to it however you want, you can. do that. So this is how you can use the Copilot in your M365 application. Another thing that is there, so you can, I'll just start with a new chat. So in case you are not aware how to write this prompt, you want help, okay, from Microsoft or this Copilot chat to do it for you. So Microsoft has created a gallery, a prompt gallery where there are some sample prompts that have been added. So if you come to this chat window, right, and at the bottom, so you'll have to start a new chat. And can you see here at the bottom, we have this see more. So if you see, if you scroll down, there are some prompts that are already there. You can also explore some more. So click on this some more, and can you see there are basic prompts or some of the prompts, sample prompts that has been created. There is a gallery full of it. So just search for it, and you can even search according to the type, analyze. So you can see you can add more filters to the gallery, right? And the job type, what kind of industry are you in? So marketing, okay, you want to add that. Do you want to create an agent? How do you want it? So here you can see there's one prompt that is there. So you can just see campaigns that click. So you can just use this prompt, right? And you can go modify this prompt also, of course. You can edit it, but you can pick up. So in case you don't know how to start writing a prompt, right? So you have a gallery also being given to you, which you can explore, which you can use, right? You can use it for any industry that you like. So these are your prompts that you have. Either you can save them or you can just go with the suggested ones, and you can see you can improve your writing. You want to go on a holiday, you want to write on out of office, you want to set that. So you can see you have this amazing prompt that is there. So it's an entire gallery. It's something that you can go and explore and you can use it. So this is your chat window. Another thing that you have is, let's say you want your tasks to be automated, right? You want all these tasks to be automated. You want, if in case you have repetitive things that are happening, right? You have repetitive things, so you can definitely use the agents. So what does agents basically do? They basically help you in they just help you basically in getting that thing done faster. So instead, like now, imagine instead of you manually doing everything, like for example, if I have to write an email, right? For some, it's a repetitive thing. The context, the subject, the body in the email is the same. So you don't want to draft it every time. Let's say you put it, you give it to somebody else, and that somebody else will automate this. You just change a few things, or you might not even change the few things. Okay, and you want it to be like for example, when you go for some client meetings outside, right? You might be meeting for either breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you want to reimburse this particular amount, and you want to write an email and see whether this amount will be reimbursed or not, right? What is the reimbursement policy? And you don't want to do it. You want the agent to do it for you. Via somebody, you want to do it. Like earlier, we used to book flights through an agent, but now we do it, or you want this to be automated. So you have an agent which you can create, which will help you. So I can't create an agent over here because it's not allowed in the subscription. So you will not be able to do that, but you can of course explore. There's a store for agents. What kind of agents do you want? You can just create that and you will be able to use that also. Another thing that you can also use is something called as pages. Okay, so here if you come to, yeah, another thing is you can see you have certain templates, because I told you you can M365 is something that is not just a part of your just a second. Yeah. So M365 is something that is just not about I mean, it's just not about this application online. You can use it in any M365 services. It's integrated there. So in case you want to build, you want to create a presentation, a form, Microsoft form, or a document, right? So you can even use that over here, right? So you have ready-made templates that are being given. So you can use these templates, some proposals, some report you want to create if you come to presentation. So there are certain templates that are there. You can click on the more button and you will see all the templates that you can use. So you can see you have Excel, you have Word, right? PPT related, forms related. So you can just scroll and certain scenarios are there already pre-configured that you can use, right? And you can definitely use those templates over here. So this is a library. So in a library now, if you see, we have something called as pages, Copilot pages over here. So in case you want a page of this, okay, so you can definitely use the Copilot pages. So what is a page? Basically, it's something that lets you turn a chat response into an editable and interactive workspace. Okay, that is what basically, so in case you have a chat, so you can just add a new page and you can start using the, uh, you can start using Yeah. So you can just ask, you can see, you can save this as a page. Okay. All of this information that you have, you can just save it as a page and you can just go here. So this is what basically additional things that you can use whenever you are whenever you want to use the Copilot chat. So you have the pages that you can use over here to analyze, ask questions, anything repetitive. Okay, so you can use the pages. You can also use something called as notebooks that are there in order to organize. So this is what we had discussed. Just 2 more minutes, guys, and then we will be ending the session. So this is your Microsoft Copilot pages that you can use. It's a capability within that. So in case you want your chat response in an editable and interactive workspace. So all of this, let's say you want to save it as a live page, right? Work collaboratively in real time. If you want multiple responses from your team members, okay, and you want to put it in the same page, right? You want to collaborate all everyone's responses together. So if you want that collaboration and you want it in a simple way, then you use the Copilot chat, right? Then you can also use the Copilot notebooks. Now, what is a Copilot notebook? Think of it as a digital workspace. Okay, it's again like a workspace, like a scratch pad that you have where you can work together, collaborate. Okay, so one way is either you use the Copilot pages or you can use the notebooks and you can come and you can collaborate in one page. So why use notebooks? Of course, it helps you to collaborate, okay, work with people, start from scratch, add references, right? Note down whatever your plans, your drafts, add, refine, add Copilot to it, and you can refine your work. So either you do, so Copilot pages is just restricted to the response, to the prompts that you write. So only the prompts can be collaborated here. But if you want much more collaboration, like uploading files, Copilot side by side with you, refining the prompts, refining the content, right? Everything you want to automate also, then the notebook will help you do that. Okay, so the notebook will help you add all of those things in a much organized way. So think of it again, it's like a workspace only where you can brainstorm, bring people together and collaborate, ask questions, summarize, even draft a proposal over there, generate some audio content, generate some image in one notebook itself. So that is also a feature that you can use over here, right? So you can go, of course, all these features, some of them is something that is not available in the chat. Microsoft 365 chat, you need the license, okay, to in order to use it. But you can definitely create those, okay. You can use the library, you can use the prompt gallery, okay. All of those things you can use over here. So this is how you can work with the chat. So either the different ways, and all of it mainly is how you write and build your prompt. All of this depends upon the prompt that you submit. So in the Copilot Chat 365 free version, you can't use any other source. By default, the source is your web source. But of course, you can use that web source, write, give better input, better response, and you will get a better output.